is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you. Today is Saturday, May 20th, 2023. We're talking NBA player props over on Prize Picks. As always, I hope this video finds you all doing well and in good spirits. We will definitely start things off by recapping our plays from yesterday, and then we're diving right into the Prize Picks board because I have 3 plays that I want to share with you today. So if you like the way that sounds, stick around, drop a like, drop a sub, click that notification icon, get notified of all upcoming content and videos from me and my channel. And without further delay, let us jump into those plays from yesterday. 2-2 on the day yesterday. Let's recap the plays that didn't work for us, starting off with Al Horford failing to reach his 25.0 fantasy score prop, and then Jaylen Brown failing to even sniff 34.5 PRA. Both of those dudes had 2 of the worst performances I've ever seen in any playoff game, especially Jaylen Brown, who is regarded as one of the top superstars in the NBA, someone who Doris Burke said that was closing the gap on Jason Tatum. And the way they're both playing in this series, I don't even know if that's a compliment or not. So two plays that didn't work for us there. And then the 2 plays that did work for us. Took the over. Derek White, 12.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It looked like he was going to crush this. Still went over by 0.5. Finished the game with 13 PRA. Not really sure what's going on with that rotation in Boston. Joe Mazzulla looks super outcoached and just out of his league in this series versus Eric Spoelstra. The rotation is super sloppy. You got a bunch of guys playing 20 minutes each in this game, and it's really just not creating any sort of chemistry on the floor. So luckily, Derek White was in the game long enough to hit this. And then we took the over. Bam Adebayo fantasy score, 35.0. That, again, was too low. Second game in a row, we had it at 35 even. I fully anticipate his line to be bumped up to at least 38.5 in game 3. And if it's not, then we will go right back to Bam Adebayo because that fantasy score is too low for what he is doing. Both first half and second half PRA and fantasy points, you can really create a bunch of cool slips just using his props. So 2-2 on the day. Very disappointed, not just in the player prop results, but just in the overall play of the Boston Celtics. Being a Boston Celtics fan, that game hurt to watch, and it was extremely frustrating to watch it close out the way it did. So moving on to a new day in the NBA, we're talking LA Lakers and Denver Nuggets. Let's head on over to the Prize Picks desktop, and we'll start breaking down a few of these plays. All right, over on props.cash desktop, I got LeBron James fantasy score pulled up because that is the first prop I want to talk about. As you can see, I like the over on this one. We're headed over to props.cash to talk about it. All right, over on props.cash, and if you've ever wondered what I use to pull up this information, how I dig into player props and how I kind of piece it all together, it's through using props.cash. This is the #1 research tool on the market. I have been using this over the last 6 months. Really, it's provided all the content, all the stats for each player prop that we talk about in my daily videos. If you're interested in joining over on props.cash and taking advantage of all of their amazing tools, you can do so by using my promo code THANKS25. Simply enter that at the checkout and you will have a nice little discount off your first month, 25% off your first month over on props.cash. If you have any questions about that or want more information, just drop a comment below in the comment section of this video, and I'd be more than happy to walk you through anything that is on your mind. All right, so let's talk about LeBron James fantasy score here. Pulling up his points to start off with because points will be the biggest portion of fantasy score, typically is. Over his last 2 games versus Denver, he's given us 26 and 22. Rebounds and assists for LeBron James in these 2 games have been massive, 21 and 19. And in these games, he has just really taken over in terms of these rebounds and assist props. And he has cleared these props in each game. I mean, I believe 15.5, 16.5 were his lines in these 2 games. No sweat at all with these 2 props. Because we talk about fantasy props, we want to make sure that we're considering the steals and blocks. He's given us 7 steals and blocks in the last 2 games. A little lopsided here, but what it averages out to is 3.5 steals and blocks. He's going to give you something in this category, so it's going to just provide more production towards that fantasy score prop. Now, one thing I like to do is figure out the fantasy points per minute for a player when we look at the fantasy scores over on Prizepicks. So over the last 5 games, playoff games for LeBron James, he's averaging 1.31 fantasy points per minute. And over the last 2 games, which the first 2 games in this series, he's given us 40 minutes in each game. So if we just want to do some simple math here, 40 minutes times 1.31 is 52.4. Now that average is inclusive of turnovers, blocks, and steals. So that right there is over what we need from him today. That is his floor. However, let me just show you what he's actually done in these 2 games. So even though his fantasy score over the last 5 games, fantasy points per minute is 1.31, these 2 games are over that. So we look at this. His fantasy points are right here. Look at this, 115. Let's just do this math real quick because I honestly don't know it right off the top of my head. And just adding in these 53.9, 116.7 fantasy points in these past 2 games. That's combined. You know, divide that by 2. He's given us 58. So that 58 is well above the 52 that we pulled up. His production over these last 2 games far outweighs his production over the last 5 games. And that's why it's pretty important to dig a little bit deeper than just what the surface level stats will give you. So head it back over to props.cash. We know he's going to give us points. We know he's going to give us rebounds and assists. He's going to give us something in the blocks and steals category. He's got a very, very healthy fantasy point per minute average. And he's playing at home in a must-win situation, down 0-2. Lots of motivation here for LeBron James. Without his production, if he's not playing at a top tier level, Lakers don't stand a chance. So I fully expect LeBron James to come out and not miss dunks and not, fumble the ball out of bounds and really show up for the first game in LA in this series. Give me the over 51 fantasy points for LeBron James. Second prop I want to talk about is going to be Nikola Jokic 10.5 assist prop. I like the over on this one as well. Over on props.cash, we can see that in his last 2 games versus LA, which were the first 2 games of this series, he's gone for 14 and 12 assists in each game. That's averaging 13 assists per game. Back-to-back games, double-digit assist for the Joker. I expect a lot of double teams, or just the same amount of double teams that we've seen so far in this series. It's going to create more assist opportunities for Joker, but we all know that Joker looks for his teammates first. He stated it in interviews, post-game interviews. He wants to get his team involved. He looks for the best shot on the floor, and then he looks for his own shot. So it doesn't really require a double team for Nikola Jokic to rack up an assist. It could pretty much happen on any possession. So I like the over 10.5 here. It's too low. I expect more production from him. And I expect for him to keep his triple-double streak going too. So give me the over 10.5 assists for Nikola Jokic as prop number 2. All right, third prop on the board. I want to talk about Austin Reeves. 21 points and assists. Now this was bumped from 20.5 to 21. I still like the over on this one. Let's head on over to props.cash and we will break it down. All right, check this out. Past 2 games versus Denver in the playoffs, he's averaging, he's giving you 31 and 27. That's 58. That's 29. That's 29 29 points and assists for Austin Reeves in those 2 games. And that is well over what we need from him today. We only need 22 points and assists for him to go over this line. I love this prop for him. I mean, he's gone over this prop in each of the last 2 games in just points alone. He scored more points than he needed, for this line. And so when you factor in his assist as well, the assists kind of act like a little cushion. If Austin Reeves gives you 21 points today, he's right at the push. And then he needs just 1 assist to go over. Now, one thing to keep in mind is Austin Reeves not only has carved out a good role, a strong role for himself on this team, but he's the primary ball handler when James is not in the game or when James defers. So when he's bringing the ball up the court, he has the option. to assist, facilitate, drive, take a three. More options for him, the better. Really balanced offensive attack for him so far in this series with his drives, his pull-up points. That's inclusive of his threes. I mean, his threes are falling like rain. He's 5 for 9 in each of the past 2 games. 5 for 9 from 3. Everything looks good for Austin Reeves. If you're expecting some negative regression for him, it could possibly happen here. Maybe he doesn't score 20 points. Maybe he only gives you, 16 points, 17 points today. But as long as his assists are above 4, we should be good for the over on this one. So I'm not sure what's not to like about this prop. I like a bunch of stuff. So give me the over. 21 points and assists for Austin Reeves. And that is going to be our third and final play for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let us recap these 3 plays quickly. We got the over LeBron James fantasy score, over 10.5 assists for Nikola Jokic, and then over 21 points and assists for Austin Reeves. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you like on the board as well as your thoughts on these props. As always, thank you so much for your continued support, the likes, the subs, the comments. It truly helps this channel get a bit bigger every single day. Listen, very quickly, I know a lot of you watch these videos and Prize Picks may not be available in your state. More news to come on a new partnership forming, and stay tuned. Big announcement will be made on Monday's player prop video. Just got to work out some details behind the scenes, but this may offer you an additional option on top of Prize Picks if Prize Picks isn't available for you in your state. More to come on that, like I said. Best of luck to you all today. Should you tell any of these plays, let me know in the comments below. And until tomorrow's NBA playoff Prize Picks video, Chavez is out.